Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. I am your host, Iskra, and my co host on this side. I can never get the right side. Riquet Caballero. Hi, Riquet. Long time I don't see you.
Right. How you doing, Iskra? We
Good.
were
How are
just at her house, me and my family, my mom and my uncle and aunt. So yeah, it's funny. We were there, what, 6 hours ago. That's
you?
cool.
Yes. We're a big family, so
Yes. Yes,
it's great
indeed.
to have family everywhere we go. Um, So we have a great topic tonight because you found some good information online. First
Mhm.
of all, I wanna apologize. Tonight's original topic was going to be something else, but unfortunately, we are going to have to postpone that topic for next week. The family of the prisoner, we do have family, we're in touch with his family, and they are currently unable to come into to our they couldn't make it tonight. The family of Ernesto Borges. So we're gonna wait on that subject until next week. But I contacted Riquet and said, "Okay, I need help. What do we have online?" So he found some
I
great.
I want to say hello to Star. She's always, supporting us. So thank you,
Yeah,
Star
thank
Estrellita.
you, stars. Thank you so much, and thank you for everybody. We've got 28 people on, so I am very happy to see all that love. Thank you for and sharing, and please on the link below we have put our the link to the new channel. If you can subscribe to the new channel, that would be wonderful. I am trying to get to at least 100 subscribers this week so that I can rename the URL and make it easier for people to actually find us. So let's take it. I'm going to give it to you, Rickett. You've got the power in your hand. You're going to
Gotcha.
share
Yeah, I
information with.
I've been hearing here and there that Biden wants to normalize relations with Cuba, or at least not be as stringent or severe as the Trump administration. And I wanted to show you guys just um, how crazy this is. First, I'm gonna show you a little incident that really grinds my gears, as they say. It annoys me very much. That happened in LA. So let me quickly share that with you. Ah, Dios mío. Here we go. And with audio. Boom, shakalaka laka boom.
Participated in a car caravan from the federal building in West LA to Echo Park, demanding to normalize U.S. relations with Cuba. Organizers of today's protest, the LA Hands Off Cuba Committee, says they want to end any travel bans and sanctions, and they're calling on.
Oh my God. LA Hands Off Cuba Committee? Really? I mean, it's California, so I suppose you should expect these things, but this is similar to that United Kingdom thing, the solidarity campaign with Cuba, the solidarity campaign with Venezuela. Hey, America, you have that too. All right, let me keep going.
On Governor Gavin Newsom and LA Mayor Eric Garcetti to invite Cuban doctors and nurses to help in the fight against COVID-19 here in California and in LA County.
We Oh my God, you're gonna have Cuba with its fake COVID-19 numbers come help the America, California specifically. Right. In America, we don't have enough, I suppose, resources to deal with this. We need Cuba, who is they're planning to feed people hamsters now because they don't have enough pork or beef. Let us continue. By the way, talking about medicine, they're sending these doctors out to Panama right now, and there's an article about Panama I'm going to talk about, Mexico, all these other places, and now they want to admit them here in America. While in Cuban hospitals, there are no doctors available. There's no specialists. I have a situation in my family where we needed a cardiologist to look at someone, and there was no one available in Cuban free healthcare because they're all being sold overseas. Let me continue.
We want to make it clear that Cuba has nurses and doctors that are willing to come to LA and California. Why not? We need the nurses.
I'll tell you why not, you socialist, because those doctors may also be, well, they may not be doctors, but they may also be agents, like the ones that took the San Isidro movement protesters out of their house because of COVID-19 reasons.
The group argues that Cuba has successfully battled against Ebola, SARS, and other diseases.
Successfully battled against Ebola, SARS, and other diseases. That is a lie. There was a New York article that said that Iskra, do you remember that disease that affected the fetuses of young mothers? That it was from South America, and it was transmitted via mosquitoes. Tía, ¿cómo se llama la enfermedad que se transmite a través de mosquitos no.
El dengue, el dengue.
Well, dengue is a problem, but Mima,
Right.
no, el otro que a la mujer embarazada le trastornaba el feto. No, chica, es reciente. In any case, there was a disease also transmitted via mosquito bites that actually caused fetuses to have like a smaller heads. Zika, yeah, Zika ran rampant Russia through Cuba, and then the Latin American health organization like neglected to report the numbers because there was like some kind of computer flaw. But you know, these people, they're not telling you the truth. Aside from the pictures that we've shown you of the condition of the hospitals and how they graduate doctors without really vetting them, so they're just kind of like stamping them like just cookie cutter doctors, reducing the number of years that they have to practice or study in order to sell them to all these countries.
And that they are willing to come here to help.
That's beautiful, that they're willing to come here to help.
No. So let me explain to our American, and maybe we can start bringing in some of these because I know there's a lot of people online that want to start coming in and giving their input. Maybe we need to put in the link. But in the meantime, I'm going to explain to all of our American friends that are out there watching this that think that this is a good thing. Let me explain to you why we Cubans feel it is not a good thing. Number one, when any country makes a contract with the Cuban government for any of their medical assistants, whether they're nurses or doctors, the contract has to go through the government. It does not, they do not get paid directly. The doctors and the nurses that go outside for missions like these do not get paid directly by the country. And so when the US pays thousands of dollars to the Cuban government for these doctors and nurses' salaries, the doctors and nurses get pennies. And when we say pennies, we mean pennies. You're talking about possibly $50 to $100 per month. And so we look at it as slavery. modern day slavery, because no one should be working for that amount of money, especially in a country where you can't buy anything with their basic salaries, especially now that everything has gone up. Because according to um, our new leaders, they have raised their salaries, but they neglected to tell the population that they are also raising 400% of their electricity bill. They're up. They're raising all of the foods. Everything is being raised. So therefore, we yeah.
Iskra, let me read a different article which
Okay.
has to do with the internet in Cuba, which is another reason why uh, this administration, or really any administration or free democracy-loving country, should not normalize relations with Cuba. Check it out. Cuba's internet, block pages, and Chinese technology, guys. So, like, Cuban officials say that the problem with the internet is due to economic limitations, but of course, their reality is something different. What is going on here? Okay, I see. That is so annoying, this whole cookie thing. Here we go. Okay.
I know.
And
Hi,
I
Star.
hate badly designed web pages.
I know.
Okay, so here we go. Look at it. So last September, Cuba's Minister of Communications, this person, gave an interview on the internet access to the Russian state channel Russia Today. He was asked if there were any politically motivated reasons behind the restrictions on the internet in Cuba. And he said that there had never been any political motivations to block access to information to the Cuban population. Right. He added that restrictions to internet access in Cuba are due only and exclusively to the economic limitations we have faced. Right. High-ranking Cuban officials usually justify internet access restrictions due to a lack of financial resources. Unlike other countries where direct investment in industry usually comes from big transnational capitals, like when Google tried to do that and Facebook back when Obama was, opening up, thawing relations. But Cuba's investment is made solely through Texa, which is a state-owned company, right?
Right.
Furthermore, the sanctions against the Cuban government keep investors away, right? Because if you do business with the Cuban military, which is the only way to do business with Cuba, okay, that's how the embargo works. While the country constantly struggles to import equipment from abroad, right? Because if you're doing business with the Cuban military, which is the only way to
Do
business in Cuba, like I hate it. Like even here, even though that this is like a like a human rights website, while the country struggles to import equipment from abroad, like the country doesn't mean like mom and pop internet, a computer store or repair shop or a private company trying to import equipment from abroad. No, it's like everything is the military, industrial complex, if you want to put it that way, right? I know that some people from the left love to use that term. Yes, the Cuban military industrial complex is the one that runs the economy, and therefore are the only ones allowed to import things, including the American chicken that they get from Alabama. Okay, moving on. The way the internet is managed in Cuba also reflects how the authorities control the citizens' access to content. Ordinary Cubans have only been able to connect to the internet since 2015. Y'all, 1998, I was already messing around with a 56K modem, using the telephone line, and the pictures would take forever to download.
But at least we had something.
We had something going on,
Yeah.
And Cubans, remember, got mobile internet in 2018. Now,
That's only 2 years ago. Just to remind everybody.
yeah, it's
Not
insane.
the
Yeah,
math. That is only 2 years ago. We've only had internet for 2 years. And
that should
it's
that
restricted, and it's very, very expensive, because in order to get on the internet, it's only in the public parks where you can, download, and what is it, a dollar per hour or $2 per hour now? I have no idea, what the rates are going now, but I believe it was around $1 or $2 at some point. I haven't gone there since 2018, so I have no idea. But I know that it's very expensive. It's not something that every common Cuban can actually afford to do.
That's right.
Now, I do believe in 2019 was when they allowed like mobile data, so they were able to, from their homes, not just parks.
Yeah, but that's even more expensive.
Oh
I
yeah, I mean it's completely unaffordable for people there.
Welcome, Estrellita.
Yes,
Thank
They
you.
look like
Estrella
Estrella,
Martinez.
your mom, or are
No,
you
no, they're not related.
they're not related? Who
No,
that I thought you were?
no,
Because you're Martinez,
completely.
she's Medina, right?
No,
Okay,
I'm
okay.
completely unrelated to the other estrellas.
Oh, that's funny. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for
Thank
coming in.
you.
Let me finish this thingy. Okay, so right. Remember, Cuba runs by law decree, or I guess it will be executive orders, right? It doesn't really run by normal, parliamentary or like Congress law. Um, and it was only allowed selectively, right? Because they want to preserve the social the socialism or the socialist aspect of the country. So and you look at the ambiguity, the country's interest and security, and then we know from the constitution that means like the socialist nature of the country. In the following years, almost all aspects of the internet were very strictly controlled. According to a 2003 report from Reporters Without Borders and entitled Internet Under Surveillance, the government tightly restricted the sale of modems. I remember this. And personal computers, only allowing some state employees to go online. That's right. When you travel to Cuba, you couldn't take modems that would get confiscated. And then somebody said that you could bring a certain type of modem, but then they didn't tell you when you could start doing it either. I remember that part. Later on, the government, allowed access to the internet and then started to censor it. In Cuba, obviously, only one company controls that. That's EXA. They do the mobile communications. They do the internet access as well. And according to its own corporate magazine, they use 3 Chinese companies: Huawei, TP-Link, and ZTE. I
And
China.
and if you have never been to China, let me explain to you what that looks like. I was in China for 3 weeks, and you cannot Google anything because there is no such thing as an internet. It's called an intranet, and they actually control everything you see. So you cannot go out into Google or Facebook or anything else. They actually have a control over everything that you go out into. Continue.
Yes. So in 2017, the UNI, or the Open Observatory Network of Network Interference, it's a group that monitors, internet censorship, found traces of Chinese code in both the surface and the interfaces used for access ports for Wi-Fi connections. They know what you're doing. They are watching you. Big Brother is watching. Okay, right?
Yes.
A Texas login portal through which Cubans access the internet appears to have been written by Chinese developers, since its source code contains comments written in Chinese. This indicates that we have the cheapest dictatorship, I feel like. This indicates that Texas likely hired Chinese developers to implement the portal. Curium, a Swedish NGO that defends digital rights, also reported possible presence of a Huawei product used for web filtering, right? UNI's report documented at least 41 websites blocked in Cuba. This was back in 2017. I imagine there are more. And they all obviously were expressing criticism towards the government. It also identified restrictions imposed on websites used to navigate the internet anonymously, such as Animals or Megaproxy. We've also gotten reports that they've been blocking VPNs recently, because we've been communicating with the people in Cuba. So we told them, oh, use this VPN to download our videos, etc., etc. So now we know that yeah, they're using Chinese technology to block that as well. Over here, Change.org was blocked in 2019 during the constitutional referendum. I remember participating in that, so that makes sense. Why we didn't have a bigger impact. In May 2020, the government blocked a similar platform, Avaz, when a group of activists and independent journalists collected signatures to repeal Law Decree 370, which is the one that Michael Osorbo from the San Isidro movement and Luis Manuel Otero Alcantara and Denis Solis are also protesting. Remember, this is the one that doesn't allow freedom of speech. And of course, this year in November, NetBlocks showed that Twitter, YouTube, WhatsApp, and Facebook were not available for the entire weekend, coinciding with the San Isidro movement protest. Yeah.
Wow. How coincidental.
Yeah, right? Cuba's Black November. That's another link. I won't go into that right now. They have also blocked the digital editions of the Miami Herald, Nuevo Herald, Proyecto Inventario or Rialta. And of course, this is more technical, but they're monitoring the traffic. This meant that when someone in Cuba wrote the address of a blocked page and the page did not respond, it was never clear whether it was due to censorship or a bad internet connection. So when people say, "Oh, I can't connect, the internet is bad," the internet is bad. Is it bad, or are they blocking you? They're blocking you. Later, when they began using an encrypted traffic protocol, right? They applied a new method, which blocked the IP address of the computer trying to access a particular site. So if you try to get around it by encrypting your traffic, your internet traffic, they'll block you. And then users received a message that they were trying to connect to a site that was not secure. You know, that's weird because I've gotten that. Google has told me that a couple of times to different sites, so now I'm freaking out a little bit. This means that a firewall had blocked the web page. Okay, that makes sense, but it's still kind of creepy. And then, well, let's just say that they're blocking 14 Medios, Cibercuba, Periódico Cubano.
So anything speaking against it, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They even blocked this. I don't even know about this Gato Pardo, which I guess was one of the region's best known magazines when it didn't regularly cover Cuba. That's interesting. Then in November 8, 2018, Abraham Jimenez Enoa began writing a column for Gato Pardo. And then Gato Pardo was no longer available in 2019. Okay. Yep. Now, again, mid-October this year, a lot of Cuban users have been highlighting a lot of errors in VPNs, right? So those are the virtual private networks that they use to get around the blockade in order to access these pages. And then an actual Cuban computer programmer said that he ran some tests on the reason for the blocked or the faulty, right, the errors in the VPNs, and he found that they were being blocked by DPI, which is Deep Packet Inspection, and that's just a tool or a way to basically inspect. They call it packet sniffing because that's how the internet works. I'm not gonna get into that, but it basically it can tell what is going through your virtual private network. And he said that this work requires more than a day or two. It requires a lot of trial and error to be able to set up such an infrastructure. He believed that Cuba is using the technology to control the web already developed by other countries, mainly by China. So there you go. Cuba is not just Cuba, y'all. They're working closely with the Chinese. I've also heard that a lot of people in I think it's called the URSI, they develop like counterfeit software for the Chinese so that they can sell it off. So maybe like a hospital needs some kind of client or patient management system. Instead of paying like a good amount of money to an American company or whatever, they hire some Chinese company, and the Chinese company outsources it to some Cuban students. and then they had the Cuban students like plagiarize the American company's system and then just kind of change it up and then they sell it.
It's like a
So
knockoff.
yeah, exactly, a knockoff. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, in New York, you get
Yeah,
those Louis Vuitton bags, and they're really dope.
exactly.
Well, that's what's going on.
Let me have 1 second because I think we lost Fulanito de Tal. He was on the screen. I touched something. I don't know if I removed him or if he lost Fulanito. If you're online, if you want to come back in, please come back. I apologize. It might have been me because I'm doing a million things back here at the same time. So I just didn't want him to feel like I did it on purpose. And anybody else that wants to join us, please come through. Bueno, Estrella Martinez, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
She's here for the first time. We met at another chat, and it was great to see you there, and it was wonderful to know that you were interested in joining us. So thank you for joining us tonight. And Mr. Sidney, we have missed you. How are you, my friend?
Hi, everyone. How are you doing?
Good, good. I know you've been busy and you've been working hard, and it's.
And I was sick.
Oh, okay. Okay. So
did you have the bug or was it something normal?
So Estrella, for the I know we're a little bit tonight is going to be a smaller debate. We're going to only have like half an hour more because Riquet has to leave and I know you have to leave. For those American friends of ours that are listening, and this is such an important, this is why this is such an important, all these topics are important because it's not just about Cuba. As you see, this is all linked to what is happening today in our own world here locally. Censorship is happening. The Chinese government is getting into a lot of things in here. So we need to broaden this to the world. And so this is why these conversations are so important. How do you feel about all of this?
Well, I personally, I think it's really important just for the public to stay informed on everything that is political, even if you don't like politics. Because a lot of people say they don't like politics, but it is very, it's tedious. There's a lot that goes into it. But especially, for Cuban Americans and Americans in general, relations with Cuba is important because of the type of government in place, that's still in place and it's been in place for decades. The relations, the U.S. is a superpower, so relations with Cuba is important because it can either benefit the people or it can benefit the government, the way that we handle, relations with Cuba. So I think that it's very important with, especially with everything that we spoke about with China and, the tracking the internet and how they can see everything you do and stuff like that. It's actually interesting because something happened, or I think it was earlier this year, where they found out that China was actually the creator of an application called Snapchat, which a lot of, it was TikTok. TikTok was created by China, which a lot of younger people use in America. And they discovered, and there's a big lawsuit, something really big going on with the government and TikTok now, that they're trying to get it, deleted, banned in the US because China was using that information. We don't know for what. So for what purposes exactly. So that's why it's so important to know these things.
And I always tell my American friends, know what you have until you lose it. And, when 9/11 happened and everyone was frantic and people don't realize how fragile our freedom is and why we need to have the securities in places that we have and why we need to make sure that not everyone can get into our systems and this is why we have have th- put things in order in our government. Um, but unfortunately, apparently, not everyone feels this way, and I have a feeling that we're heading in the wrong direction, and I would hate to see that in the future of my current country, which is the United States of America, because I lived it in my old country, and I now continuously see it, what's happening there today. So I know a lot of people believe that opening um, communications with Cuba, between the U.S. opening relations between the U.S. and Cuba is the right thing to do. And at some point, I thought, well, maybe that can work. I think we all had that wanting it to work.
It's like a
Uh,
hope.
yeah, that hope, right? When Obama came into power and he started, and I was one of them. I was one of those people. I wanted that to work. I wanted to empower the people and take away the power from the government. But unfortunately, as soon as Obama left the auditorium with on his speech, the Cuban government started speaking bad about Obama and about the U.S. government, and everything that they had, all the, all the negotiations they had come forward to just turned, backwards. And so the Cuban government gave the US nothing, and in turn the US gave them everything. So and that just made it extremely worse for the Cuban people, because now it's more fragile, that they're more dependent on the government. And so I know that is no longer the way to go. So we need to figure out another way, because that's not, for me, that's just not the way to go. How do you feel, Sydney?
Yeah, I feel exactly the same. The thing is that the way things are going right now, we are gonna be the ones that are gonna be in the future, because we live the past that is gonna be the future of a lot of people if the things remain like the way they are trending right now. So, and the only thing we're gonna have to say is, "I told you guys." That's the only thing, because we already live.
Yeah, and I would hate to do that, because I experienced that with Venezuela. I remember back in the 90s, I had Venezuelans come into my office, and I was a controller back then at a high design, high end design firm. And they would come into my office, and they would design their new apartments, because of course the people with the money, they were leaving first. And I would explain to them, this is what's going to happen, and they kept telling me, no, that's never going to happen in our country.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Look
this
at
is this is a very dangerous trending, and but I think there is an awakening in a lot of us, and we are pointing out things and making things sure that that's not going to happen again to a great country like America. It doesn't happen to be like this if we keep up and we focus on what we're doing and what we keep doing every day. And I think that democracy, as you said, has implicit the seed of destruction because of all the freedoms and all the liberties that democracies offer. And we cannot let that happen. I mean, we we didn't experience democracy in the last 60 years. We know what is now the taste of freedom. I've been in. I lived my entire life in Cuba. I lived 40 years in Cuba. I've been here for 6 years, and once you taste freedom, once you taste the sweet taste of liberty, that's something you cannot give up later on. So we have to keep going. We have to keep educating. We have to keep uh, making our voices heard all over, uh, in English, in Spanish, in Chinese, or Arabic, whatever it takes to make people aware that we don't want them to live the life we lived in Cuba or in Venezuela or in Nicaragua or in the Eastern European countries for many, many years. We
Right.
need to. This is our country now. This country has given us. I feel like this country has given me a lot of things that I didn't deserve because I am a Spanish citizen as well, and I lived in Spain before coming here, and I can say that as a national in Spain, I didn't have all the benefits and opportunities that I've had in this country being just a resident. So we need to keep up with times. We cannot spare any moment to tell our histories, to tell our experiences, and make our voices heard. I think that's why we need to keep going over and over again.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I completely agree. I feel like the movement, the fight against, the dictatorship that's going on right now has gotten traction. So it's such a crucial moment in terms of the relations with the US and Cuba, where we should not normalize those relations. It's so crucial now more than ever
Right.
because of the traction that the fight inside of Cuba is getting. I mean, we've never had that before.
Correct. And what will happen if things do normalize? Then the people will just go back to their regular routine and forget about fighting for their freedom, which is ultimately what we want: is freedom from a dictatorship that has been in power for almost 62 years coming up. So we cannot change our ways from what we're trying to do. And it's the younger generation that are now waking up and saying, we no longer want this. We no longer need this. And this is an awakening, and we all need to support them wherever we are in the world. It doesn't matter where we're at. We have to support what they're doing. But I don't believe that that relationship between the US government and Cuba, that is not going to be a support for the Cuban people. That's just going to be a bandage, because that's what's happened in the past. It's a
Yeah.
little bandage, and
Mhm.
and the problem continues there, because the root of the problem is the dictatorship that's in power,
Exactly.
and that has
Yeah.
been in power for 62 years. So that is what we need out.
And especially those of us with family inside of Cuba have seen it firsthand, how when there have been, with the Obama administration, when there was close relations with diplomatic relations with Cuba, how it only benefited the government. So those in power, the people never benefit from those relations.
And look, there might have been some people that were benefited, but those are the ones that had family outside of Cuba that maybe invested some money for them to put on, a small shop or whatever. But even then, first of all, it wasn't the entire, population. There are many Cubans that have no one that can send them money. There are many Cubans that have no one that can invest money. And then a lot of those people that invested money lost everything, because then the government came back and said, oh, I'm going to start taxing you on this, and I'm going to start taxing you on that. And, so basically they didn't give them any type uh, of freedom or, economic power. So we need to,
Hey
uh,
guys, I'm going to bow out right now.
okay, I know. Thank you, Ricket.
So
Yeah,
love you
I'll take
guys.
it here. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll take it from here. And I know you have something to go, somewhere to go. So it has been proven. Josviel says, yeah, it's been proven before and it doesn't work. And that's right. It didn't work then. It will never work. I don't see it working in the future. I know that many Cubans feel that that would be the way to go. But I can, as an economist, I can tell you that's just a band-aid to the economy, not the actual, where the problem comes in. The root of the problem is the government, and how it controls everything that goes in and out, including now that they are demonetizing or unvaluing their dollars and their, so it's ridiculous. And we need to all be on the same page, otherwise, and I don't understand how we have so many problems here in America, but yet that there are Americans that are rooting for the Cuban government to, concentrate on what we have here. We still have a lot of things to fix here in the United States. And I get it. Some people feel this is something that they believe in, but as a Cuban descent, and as a Cuban person that has lived there and has seen in the last years the process, how it went, I can tell you that that is not the way to go. Not at all.
No, I
Yeah.
think I think that one of the greatest successes of the dictatorship is the total control of all the aspects of the Cuban life, of personal and economical and political and everything. So it's hard. It's gonna be hard for them to give up the control of any. So all the threats are hanging on their fist, and they don't want to give up on that. So what's been happening right now with all the social media and the internet in Cuba, it's that at least the information is leaking. It's leaking
Right.
slowly, so they don't have no longer the monopoly in the information. So by many alternative ways, USB, Flash, or WhatsApp, or Facebook, or a lot of social media, people are getting a different feedback from a little different reality outside that we didn't have in our times. At least I didn't even have a cell phone in Cuba. So right now there's a little opening in the eyes of the youngest, mostly, who are the ones that control most of the media. So they are getting contrasts of is this versus that. So why, if my cousin who lives in Miami, he works in a factory and he makes $10 an hour, and still he can go on vacation, he can have a decent house, he can have a decent plate of food on their table, and so they are start to contrast things and making conclusions, because it's inevitable. You got to make conclusions. Why my cousin works for a year, comes for a month to visit us, and he's wealthy, or at least he's got some money to spare with the family, and to bring us this and a new phone and whatever. So at least the monopoly of the information, it's leaking, and I think this is the beginning, because we need to start cutting those threads that are hanging on their feet. And information has been the first one, and not the least important of us,
Mhm.
of all of them. For us, it's very important to make the Cubans heard a different version of our story, because we are not rich. We are not. We've been here for some of us for a couple of years, and we still have a different way of life, working, doing what they do in Cuba, working, but having a benefit out of it, which
And the
they are not.
liberty,
And the freedom
freedom, of course.
of choose whatever you want to do, which is very important. And so I think that once you have a leak, you need to make the hole bigger and bigger and bigger, and dig and dig and dig every little centimeter a day, so they can have some more information to contrast, and to make more and more conclusions. That's going to be very important.
Yeah, just communication and spreading information is so important. They aren't going to be able to restrict information like they used to. And of course to them that's a disadvantage, but to the people obviously it's an advantage.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Cuban dictator, so Medina says the Cuban dictatorship has managed to sell the ideas of the perfect idealic revolution. They are the best at lying. So that's why we need to continue to do these types of programs so that we can contradict that idealism that they have put out there, because it's all a facade. It's really just, you look at, it's when I look at all these commercials about traveling to Cuba, and you look at, I don't know, they do miracles with these pictures. Everything is so beautiful and so
It's
wonderful.
a parallel Cuba.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
they must take those pictures from like Puerto Rico or something.
I mean, I understand we have very, very beautiful beaches, and yes, we have beautiful palm trees. And they have actually that there's a very small space, about 4 or 5 blocks in Cuba, that has been revamped specifically for the tourist people. But once you leave those 3 or 4, walk a little bit to the left or to the right, you're going to see the destruction. And there are actually buildings that are crumbling on top of little girls. That's how bad things are. And so we need to, make sure that this information gets out to the world. And that's why, for me, it was so important to start these types of debates in the English language. And I hope that we continue to reach more people every day, because it's important. We did have another thing in. We had Ernesto. We had another thing program tonight. It was about a political prisoner, and he will be here with us tomorrow. The father, I mean, next week, sorry, the father of Ernesto Borges Perez will be here with us tomorrow. This is a political prisoner that has been in prison for 22 years and has served 7 additional years than what he was supposed to serve, only because they don't want him out of prison for some reason. I wonder why. So, and these are the types of, things we need to continue to bring to light. And I do want a testimony from the family. So we waited until next week for that topic. And I'm not going to prolong this topic much more, because, I mean, I know we all feel the same. I just wanted to come in, and say hello to you guys. Thank you all for supporting us. I am going to put I know that there is a link to the YouTube channel going on, but I'm going to put it on here again. And if you give me a second, because now I'm by myself. My backup producer has left the show, so give me 1 minute and I will get that on, so that everybody can subscribe to the new channel. Oh my goodness. And of course, and it cannot be slower. I think we're being okay. So I'm gonna copy this, and I am back. Hopefully, I am back now. Okay, I'm gonna post this on here on the comments. That is our new our new channel. We're trying to at least get to 100 subscribers so that we can, because the URL until we hit 100 subscribers, we can't change the URL to our talk show, which is Let's Talk About Cuba, and so that people can actually find us easier. Um, so we are trying to reach the 100 people this week. If everyone can please share that link with your friends and families, we would be very, very happy, because we need to get this out there, to as many. Oh, we have a new friend that came in. Yusbel, hi.
Hello. How's it going, guys?
How are you?
Good, good. Thank you for letting me in.
No, thank you for joining us. I know that Estrella has to leave at 9 o'clock, and I don't know what Sydney. I mean, I have all night. I've been in this couch for the last 3 weeks, so
I
I
imagine,
have
yeah.
time. Um, but we need to definitely, please share and subscribe to that new channel, because we need to get the word out to as many people as possible. And even though I know a lot of us don't like to come into the chat, you don't have to. You guys can chat on the chat. You can share with your friends. You can post on your Facebook and social media, because every little thing you do makes a difference. Every one of us plays a part in making all of our dreams come true, which is the same dream, just to see a free Cuba from that dictatorship that has been there for way too long, way too long.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, thank you, Iskra, for having me. I'm gonna hop out now.
yeah,
It's been a pleasure, and count on me if to join next Monday.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I found the political prisoner story really interesting, so
Yes,
I'll definitely be on next Monday.
wonderful. We'll have you here.
It was a pleasure speaking to everyone.
Yes. Yusbel, how are you, my friend? This is the first time you joined us too.
Yeah, that's awesome. I subscribe. I think I subscribed yesterday, and but then I'm with my kid today. That's why I can have too much time on here. I have to be watching him. He's on the living room. That's why I have to come all the way here. But it's good. It's good to be on sync with you guys already, and I'll be getting in more often if that's okay with you guys. And
Absolutely.
yeah, thank you so much. I think you guys were talking about the how the relationship with the
Yes.
government should be.
So there has been, yeah, so we found an article today where there was a caravan done in LA for the people that actually want, the US and Cuban relationships to go back to, you know, to normalize Cuban and
Well,
US relations.
yeah, I just have something to do, like to say, like for me, the only way that we can do that is if the system changes. That's it.
Correct.
There's no other way to go around that, and I think we're really clear about that, and I think the Cubans want the same. They want the same. Most of them, they don't know what the international politics are like. They probably That's probably why most of them think that just like normalizing everything is gonna be okay, and
Right.
and then that's why we need to like get at it and try to like revocate all this craziness, because it's not it's not even enough of us trying to get that thing normalized right now. And I think there are more of us that are not trying to do that at all. And
That's
then,
right.
well, I think we gotta get into people's mind and say why and
Yeah.
how we can get a better deal with this.
And the reason why is because we come from the past. We've already lived it. We've already been there. We've already done that.
Yeah,
Um, we have already
definitely.
tried it.
Yeah,
And it
they
didn't
already
work.
had the chance. They had the chance more than once already, and just the
Administration.
last time that Obama tried to normalize everything, they already let us know what they wanted to do.
Right.
Like, I don't think there are other ways to deal with them. The
Right.
only way to deal with them is uh, asking them to do what they have to do, which is like change the system and like let the people choose what they want.
Yeah. That's, I mean, that's really what I was, how I was explaining it.
Yeah.
To do it, so to me, it's just putting in a band-aid instead of actually getting to the root of the problem, which is the root of our problem is the dictatorship and the government that has been there for 62 years. So
Yeah.
until we get rid of that dictatorship, putting on these little bandages here and there is not going to solve the problem for the Cuban people. They still won't have freedom. We will still have political prisoners overstating their times in prisons. We will still not be able to say, we have a young man who just asked for freedom with a little uh,
Poster.
cardboard, and he is now being accused of terrorism. So those things will never change
Exactly.
because until that government leaves, because they're not going to give up the control.
Yeah.
So the only way around this is for that government to leave and a new government to be put in. That's the only way. Nothing else will work, and we all know how that. Angel, hello, my friend. How are you?
Hello and have a good evening, every one of you. Hi, Usbel.
Uh,
Hi, buddy. Hello, Iskra. Hello, Sydney. I just came to say hello. This is my first time coming to the Shane and trying to say hello because I was sleeping. I woke up because of the bell giving a notification that you were alive, and I promised myself that today I'll be here. But I was
oh,
I was
thank
sleeping and I'm still sleeping. You can see my eyes. I have a still.
Oh, well, I thank you. Thank you.
I just came to say hello, but
I
I mean like I already came to say hello. I just came to support
well,
and
it's
Thank
talking
you.
about us, about Cubans, about our nation, what
yeah,
we need, what we want, what we are suffering right now. Because people in the whole world doesn't really know what is going on about Cuba. The most of people think that Cuba is this paradise that government paints you in a beautiful news in some of the media, in some now in all of the media,
yeah.
and in some of the world media that they're allowed to use, and they confuse people, showing or showing an image that is not Cuba. It's not why Cubans are leaving the country, are living outside Cuba, and trying to make a new life outside in different countries, different cities, different cultures, and different way of living. And this is why we are here in the media, in YouTube, talking to people that we are not angels in heaven. We are prisoners in hell.
Yeah. Yes. Well put. We are, and it's a shame. I was just talking about how all those commercials, all those traveling commercials, and I know you guys live in Canada, so you must see them all the time over there. but I mean, I see them on YouTube, all those travel commercials that go on, and everyone seems to think that Cuba is this paradise that that just and I don't know what I've done, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to do all this. This paradise that just beaches and palm trees and beautiful women and the old cars and the beautiful buildings and however, this is a beautiful picture that they have painted for the world, but it's not the reality of our day to day, and it's not the reality of our people that every day have to go out and figure out where they're going to get their next meal from because they have no clue. And I feel so bad for those mothers because mothers have it hard. They have it very hard. They have to go out into the world every single day to figure out, what am I going to feed my children today? And how am I going to support them? And they have to go work, they have to come back home, they have to figure out what they're going to put on their tables for their children. And in most cases, it's just not enough. And it is what it is. And so thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming by. We love having you here. I know
It's a
it.
pleasure.
I didn't want to wake you up, but I thank you for being here. And
It was not you who wake me up because matter is that right now here is snowing still. It's been snowing the whole day, and then when there's the day snowing, it's like rain in
yeah,
Cuba. When there's rain, then you feel asleep. And imagine there's snowing the whole day. Mean that you spend the whole day asleep, so you sleep. You will.
well, I understand that. Yeah, yeah. Rain makes you sleep. That's true. So we're gonna let you go back to sleep, so you if you want to.
I'm gonna back to sleep because I really was I really off already. So I give you my hugs and I wish you the best for the next year because next week
That's
won't be 2020. This is the
right.
last program in this
This is
year.
our last program of the year. You do. That's right. Oh my goodness.
So I'm
Made a good
wishing you a
point.
happy new year of all of
Happy
you.
Happy New Year to you.
We will find each other still in
Each
the
other.
in the media
Yes.
talking. We will find anyone alive. Some maybe Carlitos, maybe lady, sentimental lady.
She's around. I think she's around.
She's around. She's around. She'll be around.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. We will see each
Lady
other.
of emotions.
And
Yeah.
yeah, the lady of emotion.
He's actually here waiting to come back in. So
Oh, she's right
Hi,
here.
everyone.
hi.
The sentimental lady. Oh, wow.
Sentimental lady.
That was a little bit, the emotional lady, which
The
is,
But
emotion,
you must
yeah.
remember that the first times I came in your life, I told you I need to call you different because it's gonna be so long for me to tell you.
but let me tell you, not only you, a lot of people call me whatever they imagine, a sentimental, emotion, whatever.
But
Iska, I
it's
want
what
to
I
say
feel.
hello. I was ready to watch a movie with my husband, but I promise you that I will be in your let's talk about Cuba directa. And here I am. It's difficult for me to express my political points for some reason. I don't know why. But what I was listening to you, and I believe the first thing that we need to spread, it's like a lot of people, especially non-Cubans, they always they have a concern trying to understand why we are pro-embargo. And I understand it's difficult, and it's difficult to explain it because it's like, why, if you're Cuban, you want your people to suffer, and that's not the issue. What It's complicated, and we have to explain it to them. I hope, like in January, everything can change, and I hope under a new administration, if we got a new administration, we are not going back to the Obama foreign policy to Cuba. I hope that they learn from the past for the past 4 years and for the 8 years of the Obama administration, that even when he tried, we didn't get results.
Exactly.
Americans used to go to Cuba. For them, it's like a tourist destination, and they think Cuba is just a bunch of few cute old cards. And it's not true. It's more than that. And that's
Or
exactly what I've
beautiful
seen.
ladies too.
Right. And beautiful ladies and tobacco and beaches and blah, blah, blah. What we need to let them know is that Cuba is suffering the oldest dictatorship in Latin America, 60 years. If you compare different dictatorships in Latin America, like Trujillo or Pinochet or Videla, we are the oldest one. And it's crazy, 60 years old in 2020, when the world changed so much. And that's something that we need to explain to the American people, that when we said we want the embargo, it's because we want to lift the embargo, but we need some conditions. Like when a country get into an agreement with another country, there are conditions on the table. And that's it's exactly what we didn't get from Obama. And that's what I hope it's going to happen next year, or probably the next 4 years. I don't know what's going on. At this point, I don't want to say Biden is going to be the president, because a lot of people are going to be so sad, but it could be. We have a lot of chance that Obama could be the president. And under Biden administration, I said Obama, it was my conscience, because I believe Biden is going to be Obama's continuation. It's like a second period. But let's see what's going on in the future. And for now, I believe this kind of live program are going to be really good, especially for Americans. I hope we can get into them and trying to explain what Cuba is for us, and what the embargo it's for us. And it's good. I want to say thank you for doing this, and I hope it's going to be great. It's going to be every Monday, right?
Yes, so we are on every Monday from 9 to 11.
9
And
to 11.
yes, so I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming in. I know it's hard for you,
It's
but
hard.
I understand.
Actually, it's hard because right now I want to talk in Spanish about politica. It's really difficult for me. I don't know why. Maybe because I've been talking about Cuba for years in Spanish with my friends and family. It's difficult, but I'm gonna try it. Okay, I
Well,
will try it.
I
And
appreciate
and
you
I
anyway.
have a tip that maybe we can do. I was trying um for the last probably 2 weeks to use Twitter more, because American people, for some reason, like in Cuba they use Facebook, and here we use YouTube. Twitter, it's a great tool to get to the English speaking people. It's going to be great if we use Twitter. I don't know what you think, but I think it's really a
Yeah,
good idea.
yeah, I use it all the time. We actually have a chat. The Somos Más coordinators have a chat, and we have a daily tuitazo del día. So
Right, right,
I
right.
use it all the time, and then I do a lot of it in English. And I have bombarded the new upcoming
I'm trying, but for some reason I forget.
upcoming administration with things about Cuba, and that's what we all need to do.
Mhm.
Because
And I forget about Twitter sometimes. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm old and it's for more, for the younger people. It's probably that, but sometimes I forget about Twitter, and I know it's a great, amazing tool. And it's short, and I believe it's really good, and we have to move there to Twitter. And let's see, I'm trying for the last 2 weeks. I've been with this idea to create short videos like I used to do for a while, just talking about politics but exactly for Cuba. young people, women, blah. And I believe that maybe we can do the same with English speakers. We can make maybe short videos or hashtags, something like that, that can help to spread the idea in a short sentence, probably.
I agree. I agree. So thank
I
you. And
okay.
I
everybody,
need, I need,
I
to,
want
I
to
need to
ask this.
go.
say,
I need to go. I'm sleepy.
okay,
So
bye, Angel. Yes, please.
my best wishes to all of you in the
Thank
next
you,
new
Angel.
year,
Thank you,
and not only
Angel.
the best wishes, the best of the wishes.
Amen. Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you,
And
my friend.
before I go, Sydney, how are you feeling? Better?
I'm much
That's
better.
good.
Thank you very
Good to
much.
hear. Okay. Ah, who's
Thank you. Thank
here?
you.
Alexei.
Alexei is
How you doing?
here.
Yeah. Say
That's
hello,
not
bye.
Alexei.
I got the same
That's
problem
not
that
him.
If
yeah,
we
I'm
see
at
the
I don't
home.
see
truck,
the
it's not
truck.
I'm
him.
That's
home.
not him.
I'm at home. I stay in my home. It's a
No.
vacation time.
That's
It's a
good.
family time.
Good.
I got the same problem with the lady. I don't I can I have big problem for this playing
And we
the
understand.
policy in English. But
Yeah.
I want to say I support your channel.
Thank you.
I don't have problem for the hear for the listen. I listen every time, but my problem is speaking because my English is not very good. It's the Cuban accent.
Uh,
Yeah.
Well, everybody on the chat, just so you guys know, everyone on the chat says you guys are doing wonderful. So you must be doing something right.
Yeah. So
And
someone could call me about from Cuba. Is hey, this guy is in the channels. I talk about the Ernesto. All right. Okay. I go. No problem.
yeah, yeah. So
Um,
yeah, we were actually programmed to do that tonight, but his family called me that they couldn't make it tonight. So we're gonna do it next week,
all right. Okay.
next Monday. Yes.
All right.
I believe
Thank
it's
you.
really important to help this guy. He has been in jail for 22 years. It's a lot. And then Cuban, when you ask Cuban government if they have political prisoner, the answer is always no. And that's not true. And that's another thing that we need to make a list of political prisoners and spread the word and let people know that we have a lot of plenty of political prisoners in Cuba.
Well, I
And
actually sent. Not only did I make a list, I sent the list on Twitter to the new
perfect.
Biden
Yeah.
administration.
That's great.
Perfect. Well,
That's the idea.
well, when
Yeah.
somebody asked me about the 20 years in prison, I talk. I say every time, it's all my life out of Cuba. It's exactly of my life of Cuba. Yeah, it's a lot of time.
I love
And
it.
Yeah,
in
I'm sorry for my English, but my English is not very good looking. It's Celia
Your
Cruz.
English is perfect.
and you know something that I would like to make a comparison here. Um, do you remember when we have the five spies in US, Cuban spies in UA? They have a program. They have a campaign for years and years and years, trying to say that USA was the law in the United States was barbarian because these people that came here as an spy were treated as an spy, but they were treated good. And at the same time, now when we're talking about Ernesto Borges, it's almost the same thing but in a different way. Ernesto Borges has been trained as an spy in Cuba and he has been in jail for 22 years. Imagine. And I know that the government, they have a campaign that lasts for how many years? They were, right, like probably
Yeah.
5 years. I don't even remember, but it was like 5, 6 years that they were in every scenario in the world trying to explain that those guys were heroes and blah, blah, blah. And this is vice versa. And now it's our turn to bring our boys together in order to help Ernesto Borges to get out of prison.
That's
And
right.
and that's what it is. Okay, guys, my
Yes.
Well,
husband is in
thank
the living
you.
room. I have to watch the movie or I'm gonna get divorced
All right.
3 days.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Have a
nice.
Thank
good
you.
one. Thank you for
Okay,
joining
But
thank
us.
you
you,
come.
Iskra.
Thank
Hasta
you.
la vista, baby.
Okay.
Ciao,
Good
bye-bye.
night. Bye.
Sayonara. Sayonara, baby.
Sayonara.
So,
All right.
Alexei, I wanted to tell you that when I first started going into the Hispanic channels, my Spanish was not so good. Do you remember?
Yeah, 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 I know. I know.
But
But you, Spanish,
I kept
that's better.
trying.
It's
I
better
kept
than my
trying.
English.
Yes,
Yeah.
I kept going in and going in, and so
Mhm.
that's how it works. So the more you practice, the better you get at it, and we would love having you here. So thank you for joining us,
All right. Okay.
and
Thank you. Thank you,
I know that
everyone.
I will see you here next week. So I wish
All right.
you and your family a very, very happy New Year's. I know that you are taking some time off, so I understand that you need to be with your family, and I won't take any more time of your time because I know it's
All right.
precious. Thank you for
All
joining
right.
us.
Okay. Thank
Have a
you.
good
Bye.
night. Bye. And look who just joined us.
Oh, the devil shows up. Hi,
Oh.
hi
The
guys.
big boss,
No,
Fulano.
I'm actually want to congratulate you because I don't know if you're familiar with one channel. It's in English also, but it's all about they don't talking about us that much, but they're talking about South Korea, China, whatever. They try to reveal how bad the communists is.
Yeah.
It's good that you had this channel that we had also. I believe the Cuban community have more political power and also more influence in American people for the knowledge that the American people have about our culture. And if we can transmit that in English to them, it's going to be a good sign that they can finally understand what we keep telling them how bad the communists is, what they had to do, this and that. I don't know if you guys have a chance to share or watch today that in California, they actually make a soft drink with Fidel Castro face.
I saw something about it.
They call Banana Havana.
On Twitter. On Twitter, I saw like a picture. Someone was saying like they are taking down the statues, and then they are letting this out of in the field. Like I don't know.
Yeah, because you have to remember that when you have your stomach full and you have the refrigerator filled and you can pay your bills, it's easy to dream, and that's what American people have. You probably have the same that experience because you've been here long enough to share that. When you try to spend something, they don't understand because it's not in their pictures. When you told them you don't have Christmas, they don't believe it. When you told them I actually show a friend a refrigerator a few days ago, a Cuban refrigerator. You know what she told me? She said, "You know what? The only time I see those refrigerators is when I move out of my apartment or when I move in. They're empty." You know what I'm saying? But the reality of what they live is very hard to understand what we have because it's not a picture. They never had that. They never had that. When seeing that you don't live, seeing that you don't experience, it's very hard to believe them. And that's it. So we need to keep pounding and pounding and pounding and short them with words, with sample, whatever he did. So the article that she put about the internet, etc., etc. We have to do things like that to make sure that it's understand the situation that we live, or actually our people live, and at the same time try to show the other people in the United States why we have to do that and why we have to transmit this type of information. It's great. Good job.
I tell all my friends here in Canada and US, and I tell them like, don't take your system for granted because it is what you have right now. You can lose it in a bit.
Yep. They
You can
can.
lose it in a bit just with the communists. Like it's like it's night and day. That's the example I always say. It's like night and day. And then I talk about like everything we do, how we do it, and how we survive. And then when you tell them like from the bottom, when you're at the bottom and how you never come out there, then they understand. Especially here in Canada, because we in Canada we somehow we have that feeling of there is a feeling in the people that they want, like, they are more socialist. And then when you tell them like what we went through or what we're going through right now, they can understand, they can really, and then they understand really well when you explain to them.
Yeah.
But I know there is a dream, there is a dream with the concept of communism that is not real, and that's what I'm trying to make them understand when I talk
Right.
to them. And from now on that we have this channel, all my task is gonna be to bring people from Canada into this channel.
Well, thank
All those,
you.
all
Yeah.
my friends that they are
Thank
on
you.
Life Matter, on Black Lives Matter, and like all those like socialists that I have a lot of friends of those, and I want them to come here, and I want them to talk to us.
Right.
They will, and
That
they
would be
spread the words too. The thing is, you had to find the time to introduce them, and when you have the private conversation with them or personal conversation with them, explain them what it is, and they got some motivation today, especially people in college or between 18 to 29. They're not like to do anything that is not give them some kind of entertainment. That's so new
exactly.
generation. That's the way it is.
It is true.
It's crazy, but that's the
Mhm.
way it is. You don't provide some entertainment during the process. You have to tell them something funny or tell them that you might can get some Cuban cigar. I don't know, some shit like that, and that can't come. That's the way their new generation work. They have to have some motivation or something. I get at it. You know what am I getting for doing
I,
this?
I,
Even if
I
you
wish
told them
that,
to move a couch, hey, let's move a couch. Hey, what I get out of it? You know, what I'm saying? It's a new generation. It's very complicated. And the old people, they already have their life set out. Especially here, you know how it is. You work for some certain amount of years, you retire, you do your things. It's very hard to motivate them to politician issues. Plus, they have their own. They have different
but the
opinion.
thing is, like, I am trying to attract more
Yeah, you
young
do. You
people.
do. You know what you told them? Hey, let's go to the show. That is a beautiful lady. That is a host, and we all have an accent. And they're gonna say, "Oh,
There we
I'm gonna see
go.
that. I'm gonna see how the fight's gonna be."
Oh,
You have to use your Cuban things. Whatever Cuban attraction you have, use it. That's the only thing that curious. Remember, I used to work for a company big time here in Texas, whatever, and I had to fly every Tuesday in a private jet with the thing. And one day the boss had the owner was, and you know what his curiosity was? He wanted to see my Cuban passport. And I told him, I don't have one. I'm an American citizen. But it's
Okay,
funny.
I'm gonna give the word to Ibrahim that just joined us, and he's here for the first time. So welcome, thank you for joining us. How are you tonight, sir?
Yes, I'm fine. I love it. You know, I try speak English for my first language, Spanish, okay? But I try
yeah,
my second language, English. I
Good.
love it. The Cuban people speak in English. Wow, I love it because yeah, I live in America to 1995, and I appreciate you do you speak English because the messenger to another people is speaking with another language.
Right.
Usually we speak in Spanish, you know. that's the that's my first time I speak English in the line, direct online. Yeah, I
Online.
love it. I love it. The I defend to the Constitution to the Cuba,
Yeah.
the violation to the 1952. That's the problem to the Cuban. A lot of people and the world don't understand the problem to the Cuban. The problem to the is the Constitution, violation to the Constitution. In America, we love, we defend to the Constitution, American Constitution.
Yeah.
We think that the first the problem to the Cuban is defend to the Constitution. Do you understand what I say?
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
And what the logic of this program is not just to get the word out and inform the Americans about what's happening in Cuba, but it's also to tell the world what socialism is like, because I think a lot of people have an incorrect um, mentality. They have
Perception.
perception.
right.
Thank you. That was the word I was looking for, of really what communism is and socialism. There is socialism, and then there's a very fine line, and then there's communism. A very,
Right.
very, very fine line. We have a lot of, I believe, in the U.S. And I have been in the U.S. almost my entire life. I came from Cuba when I was 9 years old. For those of you that don't know my background, so I do believe that we have a lot of social programs here in the United States. I believe we have a lot of things that need to be fixed here in the United States. Absolutely, we do. There are many things that both the left and the right need to come together and make some consensus about, because for the wealth of the 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 entire nation, we need to, there are things very like health insurance. We need to come together on issues, like big issues like immigration, health insurance, you know a lot of issues. There's no country that's excellent. We all have, believe me, I've traveled all over the world, and every country has its problems. But one thing I can tell you is that if we start losing, like you said, Ibrahim, if we start losing our constitutional rights, then
Thank you. I appreciate you.
I,
Where you from? Where you from?
I'm from Cuba.
Are you from Cuba? Wow.
I was born in
Oh,
Cuba. I came when I was nine
wow.
years old. But when I see that we start to lose our constitutional rights on some
I
manner,
love it.
yeah, then I start to get, this is a problem. And I have seen some of that happening. Actually, I lived it. My co-host, who is not here with me tonight, his name is Riquette, and he was actually thrown out of a restaurant in Atlanta for talking in a group of, it was a group of Republicans, young Republicans group. They got together in a restaurant and they were discussing some items about their community, and they were actually asked, not nicely, to leave that restaurant. Now, that to me tells me that is a constitutional issue, because they have, as long as they're there and they are eating and they're uh, ordering off the menu, they have as much right as the Democrats to be in that restaurant. So it's important to us, for us to understand that once we start to see these little issues here and there, and I have started to see them, and it's an unfortunate thing, because we don't want to lose what we don't know what we have until we lose it, and I continue to say that, because yes, we do have a constitution, and we better continue to hold on to that constitution, because if that breaks, then all hell goes to lose. I mean, then that's exactly what happened in our country. That's exactly what happened in Venezuela. The dictatorship just took over and threw out our constitutions, and I would hate for that to happen here in our new country. because we don't want to go through that again.
I would
It's,
say
Wow.
I would say that's
Wow.
that's the beginning of
Do you
the
speak Spanish?
of course, of course.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yes,
love
I
it. That's okay.
do.
I would say, Iskra, that that's the beginning of the end.
That's right.
That's the beginning of the end. And I think looking over at this side of North America, like we can see that they try to start here the same that they are starting. They started in US, and somehow the government here knows how to deal with it and not let that pass the point that you cannot handle it. And right now in US is getting into that point. Sorry, I'm talking. Okay, sorry.
Yes, okay. We understand.
Uh, Hi everyone. I don't know if you guys can hear
Hi,
me well.
Ernesto. We can hear you.
Yeah, being in the shadow, try to help Isra
Thank
here
you for
with the
your
chat
help.
and all that stuff. I'm sorry to come late, but I would like to add something like what Isra was saying. I'm kind of new on all this political stuff because I came from Cuba when I was 18, and I promised myself not to get involved with politics and stuff like that. But unfortunately, that's part of our life, and I had to learn how to deal with and support what Iskra was saying. It's coming from both sides. It's coming from either Democrats, like we obviously see the right, the left hand side, like really tends to go towards to go socialism and communism on some danger zone, but also it's dragging the right side, part of the Republicans. They call out themselves Republicans, but it's not. It's just basically a movement of money. I've just noticed that lately with all this build going on right now. uh, I hear some business analysts saying that we actually increasing the debt like 3 4 times that what we have in the past, and 4 generations maybe in a row will be paying for this. Nobody cares about that. Everybody cares about the $600, the $2,000, and the crazy bill, the 6,500 pages that nobody read, and they just sign and drive. It's scary, And the guy in Canada, I got a friend in Canada too saying the same thing. It's scary, like we got people in power right now doing that kind of stuff when actually we're sitting here at home, try to live our life, work hard, and contribute with this country, and they just take care our life for granted and do that kind of stuff, sign bills like this big when we have a pandemic here in the United States that actually is killing millions or thousands of people. Sorry about the millions part. And we actually going to send money to other countries because we are like this, and Iskra was about right. We're losing our constitution part, and this country is actually in a danger zone right now that we actually know, kind of like realign ourselves, go back to the original
Well,
track. I don't know where we're
and
gonna
Ernesto,
end.
that brings up a good subject. How do we fix it? How do we make it from going all the way there? And the way we do that is by getting as involved as we are in Cuban politics. We need to get involved in American politics. And and
Hmm.
this starts at a
Yep.
local level, and I tell everyone this: your local community, your uh, council people, your county councils, your state senators. Those people are the ones that are going to assign or take away money from your city and your kids and your schools and your roads. So you need to be a part. And so a lot of us go out to vote when there is a presidential, um, you know, uh, comes around. But we need to actually start considering and start going out there and educating ourselves and becoming more present in our local communities. That makes a
Hmm.
difference.
That's the thing. I don't know what my other people right now just say, "Oh, elections are over." I had to go to Georgia and vote because there's two more seats on the Senate right now, and let me tell you, one of them prized Fidel Castro and prized the revolution in Cuba or whatever it's called in Cuba right now, and he said that what is happening in Cuba is the best thing ever happened, and he
We need
wants
to.
that to happen
Right.
in this country. That person to me is scary, is dangerous to the society in general. And I was like, I had to go, no matter what, how long I had to try, I had to go because
We,
that I cannot let that happen. And that's very something that needs to be brought up. Like you were saying, we had to focus also. I mean, we had to keep
right.
Cuba in the loop, but what we're living right now is really matters because what is happening in Cuba is also unfortunately happen around the world and in this land as well. And we cannot let that happen. We actually stand
Yeah.
up and do whatever it takes to don't let that happen. If we had to actually sleep in front of the Congress, in Washington D.C. on January the 6th, on January the 20th, and claim our right to be against corruption, against
And
disfranchise our votes
and
because
you
of
know
what
what,
happened.
Ernesto, it really doesn't take that much, and I'll tell you why, because I've done it here in my local community. There are many groups, and you can go onto Facebook and find your groups, your local groups in your own localities, in your whatever community you're in. For instance, I'm in Charleston, South Carolina, so I have several groups in Facebook for conservative Republicans and Democratic people. And so I go into those groups and I say, listen, when is your next luncheon? I want to go to your next luncheon. Can I go speak at your next luncheon? And you know what they always tell me? Yes, please come speak. They always tell me that.
That's good.
Amazingly. And I have gone to speak at Republican luncheons. I have gone to speak at Democratic luncheons. And I have gone to speak at everywhere I go. And I go tell them what I believe they need to understand about how the the real Cuba is, and not what they're seeing on TV.
Hmm.
That's what all of us need to do.
Exactly. And there's something
We
that.
need to show we need to show them the real
Mhm.
That's
picture.
right.
It's a lot of confusion in United States right now between socialism and
Right.
social things. They don't understand the social activities and social things require capitalism because require money. And the socialists, they don't care. But we try to explain them. Sometimes what the issue is that we try to explain them on the
Right.
ideological side, not on the practical side. The practical side is what you need to just show them picture to Cuba, tell them what it is, explain them, break it down, for example, something that they proud or they brag a lot about education and health. And that's when you told them this is okay, this is health that they said is free, but look at these people right here, they don't even have medicine. It's not even applied. You want that here? No. Okay, you see this food right here? You see whatever, you see how many flavor you had of ice cream? Well, here you don't have now. Because sometimes remember, American is very practical. They're
Right.
very like what I can get, what I can do. So you have to show them things like that. Because they're very, very I got the same thing at some time. My brother worked for a health system, very high up there. And every time they had some kind of meeting or whatever, I what up? I sneak him and whoop. I told them, open your mouth, teaspoon, open your mouth, teaspoon,
You
open your
have
mouth.
a funny way of
You know what I'm saying?
describing
That to give them, that to give them what they need. That's what's up.
And
Hey
it,
guys,
Have
there
a
you go.
good
I'm
night. Okay,
gambling.
have a
and it,
good night, Fulano.
and it's not just
Bye-bye.
that. Also, we had to teach them that socialism is what they begin in Cuba, but it's not that. I mean, nowadays it's not like that anymore. It has changed. It has developed different phases. So that's just the beginning of it. You got multiple ways to see it.
Yeah, and they
And the
always
worst,
they always bring out the good at the beginning, and I think every politician does this, right? And that's why we have to be very careful about who we choose to vote for, and make sure that we go out there and vote for the right people. Because if you don't vote for that councilman, or you don't vote for that state senator, or you don't vote for whoever it is that's coming up, guess what? If you don't vote for the person that you feel is the right one, then the wrong one is going to go on. So we need to do our part. We need to do our research, make sure that we go out there and support them too. It's very important to support people in politics. Is hard, and believe me, because I have tried it. I've gotten my feet a little wet. I haven't dived into it completely because I feel I'm a very centered person. I'm not left or right, and I don't want to give to any one particular and once you get into politics, you kind of have to go with either the Democrats or the Republicans, and I'm very partialized on a lot of matters and a lot of things that matter to me. But it's, but when I do find one that's good, I support them, and I send them money, and I go to their rallies, and I rally for them, and I do whatever needs to be done to make sure that they get voted for. And that's what we all need to do. If you find a good politician, which is hard to find, make sure that you support them.
Yeah,
It's sometimes
make sure. Yeah, I vote for Donald Trump, but I have a contradiction, because I think that Donald Trump is the best president for the better option for
Better off.
USA.
Yeah.
Right, right. But with that, I think the case, to the Cuba, I think it's the same thing. For example, he don't leave. We give to the freedom to the Eduardo Rosena for a lot of years. Both party, both president, Democrat or Republican. We give for the freedom for the Eduardo Rosena. Nobody give to the freedom to Eduardo Rosena.
Right.
He have 37 years in federal prison. And I have a contradiction, about the vote or no vote. I vote for Donald Trump, but I give to him something. You
Yeah.
know,
Well, I'll be honest.
A lot of people give the vote, they don't give nothing.
Right.
The community, the Cuban community, we have a lot for give to the president something for giving the vote.
Yes.
You understand to me?
Yeah, I understand. And you know what? I'll be honest. I am not a Trump fan. I'm not a fan of his personality. I don't like his person per se, but I voted for him. I voted for him because I know that what was the other option is not an option for me.
Right.
So
it's
so I
Joe Biden is no action for me. Right.
exactly. So there is no.
it's like any option in life.
Yeah.
It's like any option in life, and the thing is that communism and socialism comes in a package. It's a full package that you cannot break down and say, I'm going to take this and this and this because healthcare is beautiful and education is free, and that's not that
Nothing
doesn't
is
work.
free.
It doesn't
Nothing
work. It
is
doesn't
free.
work like that. It doesn't work. And it's like any option in life. When you're gonna get married, when you choose the person that you're gonna spend the rest of your life, you're gonna accept that person with ups and downs, with pros and cons. So that's gonna be the person you're gonna be with. It's not gonna be perfect because you're not perfect. So in the same way, you're gonna elect the package that adjusts better to yourself, to what your beliefs or what you think. So unfortunately, we can have it all. Life is not an idealistic world. Life is hard, and it takes a lot of making consensus of what can I take or what can I take from this option or the other one. But definitely the package of socialism is something that is awkward. It's something that is ridiculous. It's something that is obsolete. It's something that is suppressing. So uh, if I have to choose, I will never choose the package of the socialism
Right.
because it's been shown in the last century that it doesn't work. So far, nobody, none, no, not any country in the modern world in the last 100 years has selected a socialism as a way of government. Nobody. Socialism has always entered by force. Nobody has selected socialism. All the fakes elections and all this troubled elections that we had in Venezuela or Nicaragua, they have all been scams, and we all know that. Nobody in the right minds are going to elect socialism as a project of life because it's a fake.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna start saying our goodbyes. And since this is the last program of the year that I hadn't even realized, where did this year go? It's been very fast. So I want to thank each and every one of you, and I want to give you a chance to say your goodbye. Yusbel, I know you've been busy with the baby, so I'll let you go
Thank
first.
you. I appreciate it.
I know. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate the the time, and let's keep doing this. I really really like what we're doing right now. Like this is probably one of the best ideas that we actually came out with. Like you came out with. Like you. This is all yours. It's all you.
No, you know,
And
it wasn't my idea. To be honest, I have to be honest. It was not my idea. In our chat in Somos Mas, everyone kept saying we should do it more English. We should do this in English. We should. Everybody would say it, but nobody would do it. There was a lot of ideas about doing this,
well,
but
I'm
nobody
glad.
actually did it. So I didn't really have a choice. It was like, okay, I have to do it because nobody else is doing it.
Yeah, okay. Well, I am glad that you came out with the courage to actually do it
Well,
and actually invite us for it. And I think we're gonna be sinking like for a long time. And I'm gonna make sure that I bring a lot of joy into this, plus a lot of knowledge for the Cuban people and the non-Cuban people, which is what we're trying to reach right now.
right.
Um, especially here in Canada, I'm working on it, and every time I have it, uh, I have time to talk to my friends and like talk to people on the street, or I listen to someone saying like I want to go to Cuba and Cuba is beautiful and that I always explain about the situation and how the Cuban people live, and that's what we have to get the word out. How we have to get the word out, like it's important what we're doing right now, and I think I'm gonna be more into this kind of like online live English talking
Good.
per se. Yeah, like I think we can get there
Second language.
farther than we actually think.
I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. I think if we
You know, I love it with the I see the Cuban people speaking in different language. I love it with when I see the Cuban people speaking French, Italian, English. I love it. I love it because everybody in the world, that's the problem with the Cuban, Italian, French, English, every language in the world. Listen to the problem to the Cuban. Love it. I love it.
Well, thank you, Yusbel. I wish you a very happy New Year's. I wish
You
you and
too,
your
right?
family
You
the
too.
very best.
Same to all of you guys. Same to all of you, all your families, and I
Hmm.
hope 2021 is our year. It's gonna be the Cuban year, and it's gonna be in the history of Cuba for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Sydney, do you want to go next? Because I know you're probably very tired. You've had a long day at work, and so for those of you who don't know, Sydney works in the healthcare system, and he is actually one of those heroes that has to deal with this pandemic day in and day out. So he's out there a lot and helping people. And I personally thank you, my friend, for making always making it to our show here and giving us your time, because I know your time is very, uh, it's worth a million. So thank you.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome. So is yours. This came out as a very good idea, and ideas need people to carry ideas on. And you jumped in with Riquet, and it's been great. I think that as Yusbel was saying, 2021 is going to be a very important year because we we started like a couple of months ago, starting with all the lives and the shows and everything. But now, like the machinery is up and running, everything is up and running. We are gonna enter the new year with a organization with goals. We know what we want and we know what we don't want,
That's
and
right.
we know what we want for this country and for our country, and vice versa. What we don't want for both countries. We know that we have a very clear, and we have our goals very clear too. So uh, with all the organization, with all the will that we're putting in it, I think 2021 is going to be a very important year. So nice joining you today, and
Thank you,
happy
and a very happy New Year's to you, and the very best to your family.
same for you all.
I wish you all the best, and mostly I wish you, health, because I know that is the most important thing in the
Ab-
world. Thank
Absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
you. Okay,
Bye
bye bye.
bye.
And so, Ibrahim, if you want to say some last minute words for
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate you for you coming inside and give you everything good. And I want to God bless USA, God bless America, and God bless Cuba. We defend the Constitution C40, and I give it to the people hope for the freedom. Thank you.
you're
I
welcome.
love it.
Thank you, and a
Mhm.
very, very, very happy New Year's to you and your
Thank you. You
family,
too, right?
and lots of health. It's what we make our own prosperity, we make our own love, but health is what I wish to everyone, because that is the one thing we can't buy or do ourselves. So I wish you much health and
Thank you. You too.
prosperity in the next year. Bye bye.
You too. Bye bye.
Well,
Ernesto, thank you for saving my life, my friend.
oh my God, we should text me now. You got my number on WhatsApp, so next time
Okay.
I didn't feel well, so I was in bed and I was
Oh,
on Facebook, and I was like, oh crap, this guy by himself, and I see Riquet and the other was like, oh, let me run and at least help him out with the chat
yeah.
and stuff like that. But
He,
it was
he
a
had
pleasure
thank
to
you for joining us, and any last minute words to our.
uh, yeah, the last minute of this 2020 craziness 2020. I would say like bring peace at 2021, bring a lot of reconciliation of this nation and in general, and in the world as well. After all, we have been suffered with the pandemic and the situation around the world in general, and good things for 2021. That's what my hope is. God bless us, help us going through the 2021 with a better face, and help us to understand his purpose, whatever he got on his hands on, help us to understand what he want us to do and accomplish his purpose in this planet at all. So my wishes for you is just have a great end of the year, eat a lot of Cuban food,
Yeah, I can't do that.
and enjoy the December 31st, and
Thank
celebrate
you.
it as a tradition that we used to. I mean, a little bit of mix, both of them, American and Cuba. And thanks for having me here, and thanks
Thank
for
you.
being part of this big family as well too.
Thank you for joining me. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye. See ya.
Well, as for me, I thank everyone on the chat. My good friend Fania has been on there, and I want to thank her and send her my love. I know she doesn't like to jump in because she feels her English is not good enough, but I thank you, Fania, for being there and being so supportive. I want to thank all of you, every single one of you who have in some way made this possible. Everyone that has put a little bit of their time into this program. We started this, which was started a couple of months ago, only just me and Riquette, and it was maybe 2 or 3 people would come on. And look, today we had over. There was a time when we had about 30 people on, so that's important. It's important that we continue to do this. For next year, I wish all of you the very best. And as I always say, I wish you health. And because I think everything else we can actually do ourselves. Um, I wish everyone peace. I hope for freedom for my country. Um, and I hope that we continue this path that, and continue to push forward together. And we help those young people in Cuba that are now standing up for their rights, and we continue to help them, um, and continue to do what we're doing. So without further more, thank you. Have a good night and a very happy New Year's. Good night, everybody.